It's another requested read.
Woo! And what was it? Who requested it? Tell us.
Well, firstly, I'm Jess.
Right, I'm Hannah.
Yeah, in case we forgot. Today we are talking about Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. And this is a novel that was inspired by true events. So sort of like historical fiction-y, but like almost biographical. Like it read, we'll get into it. This was requested by Mary at Pages and Mary on Instagram. And you know what? I had a decent time reading this. I enjoyed it well enough. I can see how it is not everybody's cup of tea. However, I appreciated the kind of macabre intrigue of it all.
Yeah. So, okay. On that note, I have a description for you.
Okay.
Set against Iceland's stark landscape, Hannah Kent brings to vivid life the story of Agnes, who, charged with the brutal murder of her former master, is sent to an isolated farm to await execution. Horrified at the prospect of housing a convicted murderer, the family at first avoids Agnes. Only Todi, a priest Agnes has mysteriously chosen to be her spiritual guardian, seeks to understand her. But as Agnes's death looms, the farmer's wife and their daughters learn there is another side to the sensational story they've heard. So, it's just about Agnes.
It's all about Agnes.
And her life.
It gives me if Jane Eyre was a criminal.
Yes. Precisely. And that's
right?
probably why I didn't like it.
I think that's why. I think I have just cracked the motherfucking code, people. Yeah, so that sets the tone for Hannah's feelings.
Yeah, I gave it 3.25 stars, and I also feel like I didn't give the book the best chance because I've been traveling all month, and so I was listening to it on audio on a road trip, and I was just like speed running through it. But the book, it was just not the vibe. It is not a road trip vibe, okay? It like genuinely depressed me. Like I finished the book and then I was like, why do I feel like so sad today? Like why am I just having a rough time today on this drive? Like I'm on a road trip. This should be fun. And it just like depressed me.
I wonder why. I'm listening to a woman on death row, but why do I feel blue?
Yeah, and so in hindsight, that was probably a poor choice. However, I didn't really have another option. And so, like, everything I'm about to say, keep that in mind, okay? Keep the context in mind.
Grain of salt.
Yeah, because, like, this is another book where it's like, did I enjoy it? No. However, I can recognize it as literature.
The writing
is crazy.
Oh my god. It was honestly beautiful. That is what initially caught my attention by this book is I like the first couple chapters I got into it and I just went, ooh, I could tell that there was going to be some heart-wrenching descriptions.
Yeah, that's one thing that I also, because I was listening to it on audio, I couldn't make highlights or anything, which I regret a little bit. But again, I didn't have a choice. So maybe I will reread it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I liked it enough for that. But there was some like really, really beautiful writing.
I do have quotes.
Okay, good. I'm glad somebody does. Because this book does deserve that. I just like couldn't give it that this time around. I just listened to it. But the narrator though, the audiobook narrator did do a fantastic job.
Oh, snaps.
It was very good. Like the different voices were a bit hard to follow. Like they didn't really distinguish the different characters.
Did the priest have his own voice? Or it was one narrator with multiple voices?
Yeah.
I don't always love that.
They weren't super distinguishable, but the writing, like the tone of the voice wasn't distinguishable, but the writing made it. Like as soon as they started talking, I was like, oh, that's this character, because all the characters are really like set, characterized.
They're very individual.
Yeah. And so I think that's why the voices thing didn't really bother me that much, but the narrator did a really good job about bringing like emotion into it and like acting it out. So that's why I can kind of like look past the indistinguishable voices sometimes, because they did a really, really good job.
They made up for it.
Yeah, of like the putting the feeling into it. I think that's another reason why it deeply affected me. And that's another reason as well that I still gave it a solid 3.25 more than passing grade, is because any book that makes me feel any type of way is a good book.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like
Whether
it.
it's good or bad.
Yeah, even if I don't like it, even if I didn't enjoy it or I wasn't entertained by it, it still made me feel something, and I can't deny that. It's the same as like, Burnham Wood.
Uh-huh.
That's how I felt about Burnham Wood.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like Burnham Wood, but it made me feel things, and it was good writing, and I can recognize that.
And I think you said a really interesting buzzword there, and you said that, was I entertained by this? No. Was it a good book? Yes.
Yeah.
And I reflecting on my own experience reading it, I'm not even sure that I found the book necessarily entertaining, because it's a sad story.
Yeah.
Straight up, it's a woman waiting for her death.
Yes.
It's very sad. But I was still very drawn to it nonetheless, and I still enjoyed reading it, even though I wasn't necessarily entertained by it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make a lot of sense. Because I felt similarly about it. And also, it was sad, but it was also heavily nuanced, because you realize as the story's unfolding, we're getting spoilery, you realize as the story's unfolding and you're learning the context for why she's in the position she's in, it's suddenly there's so much tension between this question of right and wrong and whether or not she should be on death row, because she did it. Spoilers. Yes, she did it. However, she did not get there alone.
Yeah. And we know that this entire time, when we're always going, how did she get here, though?
Yeah.
Because we know there's other people involved. We know that there's 2 others that were on trial.
And one was pardoned.
Yeah, at that. And so we spend this entire time just wanting to know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And I was pretty close, to be honest. I was pretty darn close. And it was just the minute details that I didn't have. But I just had a feeling on where it was going the entire time, but I still wanted to see how she got there.
Yeah, which says a lot, because you hate knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah. But if the journey is still a mystery, we can work with that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I knew that this was definitely going to be some woman getting fucked over. Either she didn't actually do it, or it wasn't her fault in some way, or something like that.
Or she didn't start it.
Yeah, there has to be something.
I guessed that part, but I didn't guess how it happened specifically. But I'm I know that she didn't start this, but I had a feeling that she finished it.
Yeah, and that's what is coming back to bite her in the ass. And isn't that just a metaphor?
Yeah.
Isn't that just a metaphor for the general female condition?
Yeah.
Because, we didn't start it. But,
No.
look at how many times women are left to pick up the pieces and are bitten in the ass for the actions of other people. And, how much women are defined by how well they show up for other people. And being a good woman means how well can you give up every single piece of yourself for the benefit of other people. Mm-hmm. And so this was just an extreme, very extreme case study of that condition. At least that's my interpretation.
Yeah. No, totally. And not even just that one moment of her life, her entire life was an example of that. The way that, she was abandoned by her mother and then went from farm to farm, and how the townspeople looked down on her because of it. And it's just she didn't choose that. Her mother abandoned her at 4 years old, and that was her only choice.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragic story.
It is. Shakespeare who?
Ancient Greek drama where?
Hello?
Yeah, that's also probably another reason why I didn't enjoy it, is because I don't like tragedies. I don't see the point. I don't care. If I know that this is going to end in doom and gloom, and I know that this character is doomed, why are you making me care about them? I'm just mad.
I was even wondering there was just like a twinkle of a wonder in my brain if Agnes would get pardoned as well. And even when I had that like little shimmer of hope, even then I was just like, I don't think it's going to happen in this one. I really don't. I don't think this is a happy ending.
No.
And lo and frickin' behold, you're right. This really is just a perfect example of, well, a modern day tragedy.
Exactly. Like, how often are women
Yeah.
fucked over because of the actions of other people? And like, look at the world, the state of things at the moment. Like, seriously?
Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died and it was all downhill from there.
No, for real. Oh, but also another thing too that adds to that interpretation, now that I'm thinking about it, is the way that there was another woman involved and she was pardoned.
Sigga.
Yeah, because she fit into this like young, naive, complacent, pretty, comes from a decent family. She's just, known in this area as this like young, like she's just a sweet little girl. Like she could not have possibly, and so they pardoned her.
Yeah. But Agnes, who, has gone from farm to farm for years doing God knows what.
Yeah. Being promiscuous.
Mm-hmm. Even with no proof to that effect.
Yeah. The fact that the other woman involved was pardoned and she wasn't is just, in my opinion, evidence in and of itself that this was not a condemnation based on murder. It was a condemnation of this woman for not fitting into the societal norms and standards of what women were supposed to be at the time.
Yeah. Knowing that Sigga got pardoned and Agnes didn't, even though learning about Agnes's relationship with Natan and then how he treated not just everyone, but her especially, where he was just hot and cold with her. And, one day he wanted her. And then the next he was, sneaking into Sigga's bed. And it got so messy so fast. And I felt like none of it was her fault. But it just spiraled out of her control. And then she was in too deep at a time of year where she couldn't escape because it was too cold. Like, he threw her outside naked one night and she was forced to sleep in a barn next to a cow to keep warm. Absolute insanity. But this woman loved him. You know that she was abused. Like, so, that woman.
Yeah. And that also speaks to the way that love is absolutely blinding, and it's dangerous. It can be dangerous if the person that you're in love with doesn't honor that.
Yeah.
And another thing about Sigga is that she was completely, she knew full well that Agnes was involved with him. She was not this sweet little innocent little thing. Like, she was just portraying that, but she was fully complacent and she knew that he was treating her this way, and she just was oh, whatever, la la la, and carried on.
And then when people told Sigga that Natan was, being inappropriate, then she would just go, oh, little old me, oh.
Who, me?
And then, people would be up in arms against Natan on her behalf, and she just kind of sits there and lets it happen when Agnes is still just sitting right there, taking this all in, knowing that Natan doesn't really give two flying hecks about her, and just has to deal with all of, the whole, all of it.
She was really she was, even when he was behaving well, even when he wasn't being abusive, she was still giving him her everything, and he was just tolerating it. And that's so tragic. I know what it feels like to give your all to somebody who just tolerates it.
Natan was a piece of shit.
A piece of shit. Literally, he should have, I'm glad, whoa, I shouldn't say that. But he had it coming, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Not that I think that murder is okay in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely not. And I don't believe in the death penalty at all. However, karma.
Period.
Oh my God. And then the other guy, that other guy involved in the situation.
Frederick?
What a coward.
For real. If you're gonna try to kill someone, finish the fucking job.
Exactly. She's only in this position because she was putting someone out of their misery after they were,
after
bashed
you
in.
were a fucking pussy. Like, if you're going to hit someone in the head with a hammer, make sure you finish them off.
And then he just starts crying.
Yeah.
And, like, asks her to do it. It's like, that's not her responsibility.
Like,
don't bring
come
her into
on,
this.
bro.
And then she does it, but not because she wants Natan dead, but because she wants him to stop suffering. Because she loves him, even though she hates him.
Yeah. And it's just like, brother, if you were that angry at Natan as well for, you know, molesting your fiance, essentially.
Yeah, but also, like, the book never indicates one way or the other whether or not it was consensual, though. That's another thing that's kind of, like, added tension.
Yeah, it doesn't explicitly state it, because it was all from Agnes's perspective, and so granted, she did not see Sigga telling him yes, but she did not see her telling him no. And then he would slip out of bed after. And it happened multiple times.
Yeah, and so I'm hesitant to be like, oh, like, she was just complacent in that, because, like, we don't actually know what the situation was. Mm-hmm. But, like, she should not have been pardoned. She was involved. She was there.
She was involved.
In the murder, I mean. She sort of just, like, went along with it, because that's what Frederick wanted. So maybe Sigga was fucked over, too.
I don't know. I feel like Sigga should have thought things through more. And especially because, like, Frederick's place had room for Agnes when she was kicked out. So, like, they could have had room for Sigga.
Sigga could have gone with him. So that's the thing. That's what makes me think that maybe she was complicit.
Sigga's a little sus.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, as much as on the one hand we don't know for sure, like, if she was consenting to this relationship with Natan, she had other options and didn't take them. And there is no perceivable reason why. And so that's why I'm suspicious of her. And I'm kind of pissed off that, like, she got pardoned just because she fits the mold and Agnes doesn't.
Yeah, period.
Because, like, there is no other discernible reason why Sigga should be pardoned and Agnes shouldn't. Like, Sigga was not holding the knife, sure, but she was involved. She was there. But I do find it interesting, though, that we don't really talk to her. She doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
No, almost none. I would like to mention another woman in this story, though, that I really enjoyed, and that's Margaret.
Right, which one is that? Remind me real quick.
Margaret is the wife in the family that is taking Agnes in.
Love her. She's a badass. She handled that with so much grace. Like, she had this whole situation imposed on her, and she still didn't necessarily take it out on Agnes.
Yeah, so remember that we're in Iceland, which is essentially buttfuck nowhere. And so there's no prisons there in the 1800s. And so after this crime was committed, of course, they want to try the criminals in the country that they committed the crime in. So they want to keep them in Iceland and instead of shipping them to Greenland.
Shipping them to wherever the prison is.
Yeah, and so because they don't have prisons, they basically split them up and they each sent them to a farm that, like, a government official lives on. It's just like a family farm. And they went, you have to stay here until your execution. And so Agnes is sent to live with this family. And it is a husband and wife, and they have 2 daughters. And I think they have a son too, but they don't really focus on him in the story. He's, like, briefly mentioned.
I, like, completely forgot about him. I was listening on 2.3 times speed, bro. I have no idea about the brother.
Exactly. Yeah. I barely know about the brother. It's like 2 sentences in that whole damn book. Anyway. Yeah. So Margaret, what a bad fucking bitch.
What a bad bitch.
I love Margaret. She handled this situation with poise and spit and vinegar. Okay. Poise and spite.
Yes.
Okay.
That woman is fueled by spite, and I love her for it.
Yeah, she was wildly unhappy about a criminal coming to live in her home, a murderess, which fair. And the fact that they had Agnes arrive while her husband was away from home as well, salt in that wound. Margaret is also, like, sick this entire story. Like, she's, like, chronically ill. She has a hacking cough. She's, like, spitting blood occasionally. She is actively dying, but she's kicking in there It's good old 1800s cancer where there was no doctors. You just dealt with it. And so that's Margaret. And she got Agnes working. She got her working on the farm. She gave Agnes the opportunity to show her knowledge on herbs and medicine. And like there were times where Margaret had this like hacking cough, and Agnes just like quietly from the side of the room, she would just go, "Have you tried algae jelly?" And Margaret goes, "No, will it help?" And Agnes just like silently nods, and she goes, "Do it." And she goes and she makes it and she brings it back. And she just has these little moments where she's like, "Hey, this is something that I can contribute to you right now." And Margaret just, she sees her in those moments. And I felt like that was really powerful because it's that moment of human connection when we know that Agnes only has so many of those left. Because like Agnes is literally on a ticking clock this entire book. Like we know she is about to die. Like they're scheduling her execution. And so to just see Margaret still treating her with such humanity, even though like, you know, Margaret started this book hot and heavy. Okay, she was pissed off. And come the end of the book, she's like, that like this woman deserves to be able to, you know, just enjoy some sunlight. She gave Agnes the chance to just feel like a person for a little bit longer. And I think that deserves, you know, a little recognition in of itself too. Like, I think Margaret is why I rated this book as highly as I did, because I gave it up 4 stars.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. She is a really compelling character. Mm-hmm. And probably not an uncommon kind of character for the time.
Mm-hmm. She also just really cared about her daughters.
Yeah, and her daughters as well were interesting. Like the way that one of them sort of formed this sort of camaraderie with Agnes, because she just like sort of decided in her mind that there's no way that Agnes was a cold-blooded killer.
They had also met Agnes once briefly when they were traveling years prior. And one of the daughters remembered meeting her on the road. And because Agnes had some bread with her or something like that. And of course, remember, Agnes is going from farm to farm. She doesn't have much. And so the fact that she still shared her bread with these 2 little girls that were traveling with their family, that became a core memory for one of these daughters. And so when Agnes comes to stay on the farm, it takes her like a day or 2, and then she's like, "I know you. And you treated us with kindness, and I'm going to treat you with kindness."
And it was just that simple.
Yeah, it was just that simple. And she stuck to it, too. Like, even when people told her not to, she was just like, she's fine.
I think that honestly was an expression of that character, that daughter, was sort of an expression of basically just being like, you are more than the worst thing you ever did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was an acknowledgement of that in Agnes, of like,
I agree.
As much as you did a bad thing, and I recognize that you did a bad thing, but I also see who you are.
Not everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know, I came into this recording session liking the book, but after talking about it more, I think that I actually like it a little bit more now. Like now that we've had the discussion about it too.
Yeah, like now that I'm English majoring about it, and like actually like talking about the parts of it that had merit, because this was like a requested read, and so I want to have something positive to say. I actually like do realize that like no, it's good literature. It's a good book. It's a good book. I don't like it. It's not for me. I was not entertained. I was not comfortable at all. I low-key about halfway through I was ready to like have a fight with Mary over this. But like because she requested this. But like the more that I reflect on it and think about, you know, the book and the things that it does, and the fact that it's based on true events as well.
True story, yeah.
So it's sort of like it's sort of like a case study.
Kinda, yeah. I love true crime.
Yeah, and so it was really fascinating. And then
it was
the messaging in it of like, this is tragic. This is another tragic woman in history. And like, the story is told with so much compassion, and it acknowledges all the complexity, and it does acknowledge that she did a bad thing, but it also sort of points out that there's nuance and context to things like that. And so people, just by virtue of being human beings, are worthy of compassion, because you never actually know. You never know. And like, I think the other daughter as well, who like wrote Agnes off and like basically represented everyone else in Agnes's life, even she eventually comes around.
Yeah, come the very end.
When she sees the way that Agnes is interacting in these very like quietly and calmly loving and
Doesn't
compassionate
her family
ways.
also tell her to get over herself?
Yeah, because she sees Agnes in the way that like Agnes interacts with her mom and her sister, and realizes that Agnes is more than the worst thing she ever did. But ultimately, the worst thing she ever did is still all she's remembered for, and she still has to face the punishment for it. And that's what makes it tragic.
True. Wow. This was a good one.
Actually, I take it back. I don't have beef with you, Mary.
I knew we'd bring you around.
Yeah. It just took 34 minutes.
It took 34 minutes. That's all it takes.
Sometimes I just have to discuss, and I have to get my big feelings out, because I think sometimes I tend to rate more based on like entertainment than like literary merit, but also it's just a matter of like personal. I gave it 3.25 stars, but take that with a grain of salt, because that has to do with personal preferences. Like, I don't like tragedies. I don't like there's a whole bunch of stuff that I just like didn't like, but I do recognize this as a good book, and I do appreciate what it does in the literary sense.
I only rate off of vibes, and I still gave it 4 stars. So this book, you're either going to love it, or you're going to hate it, or you're going to like it, and then you're going to sit there for an hour after and go, fuck, man.
That's what
happened. And then you're going to like it.
That's what happened to me. Is like I sort of just like speed ran it, and then I was like, hey, wait. Actually,
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, it was literally like, what? Like, I'm glad that I gave it a week before recording this, because what was that? That was crazy. And so I just sort of sat with it kind of in the back of my mind for a few days. And then now that we're talking about it, I realize, oh, I actually do like have thoughts, and this did affect me. And so that is a sign of good art and a good book.
Uh-huh.
Even if I didn't like it and wasn't comfortable with it.
No, I read this one like on Kindle, and yeah, I knew when I was reading it, I'm like, this is one that's gonna have some morals in it.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Would we like some quotes before we say goodnight?
We would love some quotes.
Okay, my first one comes from page 20. Another cow would be nice, though, the extra butter. We could afford another hand for harvest. In good time, Margaret, love. In good time, I'll be dead.
And that is Margaret.
Yeah, so Margaret immediately won me over, because that's my bitch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in good time, I'll be dead.
I just love the way in her internal monologue, the way she's really just looking at her husband being like, you're so stupid. Yeah. Like, at all times. And it's so funny.
For real. Yeah, she just looks at everyone around her and just goes, huh?
What is wrong with you?
I love Margaret. Yeah. So from page 35, I have, this is a quote from Agnes. And again, this is going to show how much she was not seen as like her own person. And it says, I understand that these people did not see me. I was 2 dead men. I was a burning farm. I was a knife. I was blood.
Yeah.
Page 52. It was not so hard to believe a beautiful woman capable of murder, Margaret thought. As it says in the sagas, Opter Latin, a witch often has fair skin.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. We also mentioned how the Reverend was personally requested by Agnes. Very similarly to how she had met those daughters previously. She had just met the Reverend crossing a stream one day, and he helped her. And she just remembered him being nice to her that one time. And that's why she requested him as her counsel before she gets executed.
But he was also young and inexperienced, and so she figured he wouldn't be too much trouble.
Yeah. And so on page 84, she says to him, she thinks, perhaps I should say to him, poor boy, go back to the parsonage and back to your precious books. I was wrong. There is nothing you can do for me. God has had his chance to free me, and for reasons known to him alone, he has pinned me to ill fortune, and although I have struggled, I am run through and through with disaster. I am knifed to the hilt with fate. And I went, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I am knifed to the hilt with fate.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stab me in the heart, why don't you?
Yeah. And that was page 84. So when I say that I knew this was going to be a good book off the writing alone, I meant it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the writing is fantastic.
It is
like,
fantastic.
Hannah Kent is a genius in that way.
Yeah. You know, I'm also pretty sure that the other language was not Latin. But in my mind, if I can't read it,
it was
Latin.
Icelandic.
It's Icelandic. I can't read it, it's Latin. Yeah. Page 189. As they say, blind is a man without a book. That was more Latin, by the way.
That was Simlish, what just came out of your mouth, actually.
Me and Jared were talking whale to each other earlier.
No.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know what? We don't have time for that.
No, we don't. Page 196. Okay. See this? You have a hollow palm, like my own. Here, can you feel how it is unfilled? The soft depression, the ghost creases in his skin, the suggestion of bones. Do you know what it means to have a hollow palm? It means there is something secretive about us. This empty space can be filled with bad luck if we're not careful. If we expose the hollow to the world in all its darkness, all its misfortune. But how can one help the shape of one's hand? I was laughing. By covering it with another's, Agnes. Oh.
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 Who's she talking to there?
Toady.
Oh. He was such a wholesome character.
He was sweet. Also, I have 2 quotes left. And I feel like this one you're really going to enjoy. This is from Agnes on page 232. And there comes kind of a turning point in Agnes's acceptance of her situation. And so she says, let everyone know whose bastard I truly am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking that bitch with me.
Yeah. Because another part of her mother abandoning her is her mother lied about who her father was to save the face of her actual father. And so this is the time where Agnes took the last name of her father. So it was Magnustador. And basically it's the same as, you know, Matheson, Johnson, Craigson, whatever.
Well, because the name means daughter of Magnus.
Yeah. Yeah. And so close to like 2/3 through the book, someone asked her her name and she says, my name is Agnes Johansdador. And everyone loses their fucking mind. So that was a powerful moment. Oh my God. I was thrilled for her. That was the most exciting part for me.
Like, yes! Mm-hmm. Get 'em!
And then page 248, it says, what else is God good for other than a distraction from the mire we're all stranded in?
Who said that?
It was Agnes.
Yeah, because she's very, like, straightforward, no nonsense, matter of fact. Like, she's very she's a realist.
Yeah, she is. And she's, like, she definitely looks around her at the situation that she's in, and then just goes, well, what the fuck?
Well, shit. She's very, not cunning. She just sees things for what they are. Wow. Yeah. Those are good ones. Excellent writing. Fantastic. Props, Hannah Kent.
Yay. Snaps.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mary. That was an experience. There were some real ups and some downs.
For real.
But I think we are wrapping it up on an up. So that is good. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's definitely one that I think is going to stick in the subconscious for a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for making me think. Thank you for making me feel things. Thank you for breaking up the monotonous string of just mindless, smutty romance books that I've been reading.
Oh, I followed this up immediately with Mile High Heat by Sarah Blue. And boy, was that some whiplash.
Yeah. Yeah. I needed like good, proper literature in that moment to be like, oh, right.
Yeah, and I needed something really smutty right after.
Yeah. Yeah. I read Leather and Lark right after.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I think it was good for me, even if I wasn't happy about it. So thank you.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if anyone else would like us to read some of their books, some of their wonderful picks, some of their top favorites, or some of their least favorites, I'd be interested in a hate read. Send them our way.
Yes.
Send them to us. You can reach us on Instagram or Threads at badlyannotatedpod, or you can email us at badlyannotatedpod@gmail.com. And all of our links are available through the link in our Instagram bio. And with that, kind of sad wishes, but best regards.
Sincerely, Jess and Hannah.